Oh, well, win some, lose some.
Mr. Tweedale?
Is that our young man from next door?
Chris.
That's what I said.
No, you said, is that our young man? Are you wearing camouflage, Mr. Tweedale?
I'm up here.
Oh, I thought there'd be a rational explanation.
Look at that litter again. Since they got rid of national service, Charlton-cum-Hardy's been riddled with long-haired litter-louts. They have rumbles, you know.
Pardon?
Rumbles with rival gangs. Of course, you'll not be a stranger to rumbles, being a reporter. You cover all the seamy side of life.
Well, I did once cover the area final of the ladies' brass band contest. Now, that got pretty hairy.
It's not a rumble, though, is it?
I wanted to call the piece The Sound of Bras, but they wouldn't let it.
Oh, they don't these days. It's all this women's lib. You know that's ligustrum ovallifolium, don't you?
Oh, right on, Mr. Tweedale. There's a lot of truth in those old sayings, you know.
It's the name of your privet. Now, compare it to my Grisellinia littoralis.
Oh, every day, Mr. Tweedale. Nature works many marvels, you know. But I've always considered your Grisellinia littoralis to be one of its true gems. Well, stay loose.
Connie Wagstaff's come. Your mother-in-law. Used to know her sister years ago. Oh, desperate as a packet of poison there, Vera. And religious. Vera, my God to thee, we used to call her.
Hey, I like it.
Any road, Connie Wagstaff's dropped in to see you. We had a brief exchange of unpleasantries.
When your dad and I got married, we played it cool for a while.
6.5 years?
And then we just had you, one at a time.
Well, you're not blaming me for having twins, are you?
Oh, perhaps waiting 6.5 years is a bit old-fashioned these days. But getting married and waiting 5.5 months, well, that's still something that ought to remain nameless. I don't know how to break it to your Auntie Vera.
Well, she's in New Zealand, isn't she?
Whenever I see that, take a British Airways earth shrinker, I have visions of Vera and that congregational sheep farmer of hers, shrinking over from New Zealand on a fleecing visit.
Fleeting.
Although she's changed a great deal, love. Incidentally, what time does the attendant collect the deck chair?
Oh, come on, it's only broke, flat as a mat.
That's something else you could do with. Look, Felicity, most people have no money. Most people spend their money on unconventional things like three-piece suites.
Do you want to tuck the tiddlywinks up in their cots?
Oh, I sometimes wonder how you'd manage without me. Oh, no, there's got to be an end to it somewhere. They're property of the President and Urban District Council. Responsible parents do not bring children up on psychedelic striped deck chairs stolen off Prescott in France.
Chris bought that in a warehouse place, 95p.
Cash? Or did he get terms? Come on. Come on, then. Betty.
Fliss.
Chris.
Kiss. You'll never guess what happened walking past old Tweedale's.
My mother's bubbles got chopped off.
I must have wait till he's doing around. Look at that. I had a decent story in there tonight. What the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee said to the teenage topless go-go dancer. 18-year-old Leslie Lewis, a topless go-go queen at the Bee's Knees disco, told the court today how 49-year-old Councillor Halfyard said to her, most of it's missing. But instead, tore off Miss Lewis's thigh-length boots against her will. That story had everything. Local politics, motoring tips, fashion news. Any food, love?
Yeah.
I prefer a round of sandwiches.
You're not a Freemason, are you? You hardly ever find Freemasons' children being brought up in deck chairs. My word. Gavin Ramsey and Carol are doing very well. They've got a new car. Lotus Europe, no less.
Lotus Europa.
Gavin's really made his mark. Flying those international earth shrinkers and things.
Gavin isn't exactly the steady-eyed captain of a VC-10, Mother. He works in an air freight office in Albert Square.
And in parcels to the bleary-eyed driver of a Ford 10.
Jealousy, yeah, there's an unfortunate fellow, Christopher.
Oh, that's catchy, Mrs. Wagstaff.
Just because Gavin's doing very well for himself. And Carol, she's got a very good position on the Yellow Pages. I bumped into them both in the Electricity Board showroom. choosing a new split-level cooker.
For their split-level bungalow.
With wall-to-wall carpet in every room.
Well, we've got wall-to-wall floorboards, that's a start. We can't have everything right away.
Well, the odd labour-saving device would be welcome, though.
Like what?
Like a bucket.
You've got a bucket.
No, I want another one. It is irrational, but I suddenly want 2 buckets.
What's this bucket obsession? You're not about to go forth and multiply again, are you?
Of course, Gavin and Carol haven't got twins.
Did you pay the mortgage?
Nope.
You promised you'd go in and pay it today.
I paid the interest. The mortgage starts towards the end of next century.
I mean, Gavin and Carol have carried on working in order to buy life's little luxuries. Like a draft excluder. They've waited.
A long time. They've probably got a split-level bed and don't meet very often. That Lotus Europa's just a substitute for not having it. That nasty thing you're allowed to do when you promise to forsake all others.
Matrimony is to avoid fornication, an activity some indulge in before they've forsaken all others.
It's since they put the fluoride in the water, you know. The park's full of kinky fellas going up to young girls, flashing their teeth.
If it was up to me, I'd put buckets of bromide in the reservoir.
There you are. Your mother's got a spare bucket, Fliss. Hey, are you expecting anybody?
Oxfam.
Well, if it is, we haven't got anything.
If it is Oxfam, they'll be delivering, not collecting.
Don't have to rush off, Mum.
No, though. I was going to make myself a cup of tea. You do pots of hot water for the sands.
Mrs. Hawthorne?
Fliss.
Oh, well, if it's inconvenient,
No. That's her name, Mrs. Tweedale. Fliss. Felicity for short. Or even short for Felicity. It's all relative, as my dad used to say. When he got stuck. Well, Mr. Tweedale's kindly loaned us.
Oh. Made in Sheffield.
He can tackle that hedge of yours now.
It's finding a free night. All the seamy side of life that's fit to print happens at night, Mr. Tweedale. That phone of ours never stops ringing. I'm out every night covering a pillage or a plunder.
We haven't got a phone.
Metaphorically. When did I last have a night off?
Tonight, and last night, and the night before that.
Tonight's the night for your hedge, then.
I've not eaten yet.
Put a hedge on your appetite.
Well, Connie,
Austin?
how's your,
Very well, thank you.
Is she still,
Yes?
Oh, well, that's the main thing.
And what's that language calling?
Swahili.
Oh.
Are you still an odd fellow?
You can get a bit personal, can't you?
I resigned on a point of principle.
You mean they made Vernon Batley Grand Master instead of you, so you chucked your little pinny in?
There's a lot of your Vera in you. She could sing a bite with me and make it sound malicious.
Mr. Tweedale has got a Grissolinia littoralis.
He used to have a tandem. Him and Reg Needham got it stuck in the tram line outside Victoria Station.
Central.
Went straight into the back of the number 34.
It was a 31 going to Southern Cemetery.
Oh, that was handy.
Anyway, Reg Needham shot off the saddle and crashed down onto the crossbar. He never got married either.
I've never wanted to get married. Pursuing the pleasures of the flesh when you're going for 50-mile road races plays havoc with your ref counts.
Well, never did make that cup of tea, did I?
I thought Tuesday night was bingo night.
Oh, they've closed that bingo hall down. They've turned it into a cinema. It's all part of the general lowering of standards. Well, now that you're here, I suppose you'd like a cup of tea.
Well, I won't say no, Connie. A cup of tea will be very welcome. Is it all right if we...
Oh, yes, go ahead. Now, that can't be Jehovah's Witnesses because I bought the watchtower last Friday.
Next time they come, tell them we're Roman Catholics. And if they ever come again, say we're Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, they only want everyone to stay young and healthy and live forever.
Well, that's all the Building Society wants, but they manage it with letters. Come in, mate. Grab a pew. Take the weight off your wallet. It's Gavin, love.
Finally happened, Chris. Suppose it had to sooner or later.
Oh, you've not bent the lotus, have you?
No, it's not as serious as that. Oh. Carol's left me.
Gavin!
Ah, it's been looming for months, Fliss. Hey, will this thing come up a couple of notches? Can't hold my head and my hands back here.
So, Carol's really ditched you then? Like a dying duck in a thunderstorm?
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly.
No, but she has left you.
Yeah.
Mrs. Wagstaff, can you spare a minute?
Disappointment to me. Your marriage had everything. Ranch-type fencing, coloured stone patio.
You haven't actually said why Carol's left you, Gavin. Unless you'd rather not talk about it.
Suppose there's another woman in it somewhere.
Yeah, that pal of hers, Maureen Askew, doesn't exactly think I'm Robert Redford. She's been uptight ever since she got her dishonourable discharge papers through from Tupperware.
I also feel bound to ask if it's seemly for a man whose wife has just left him to lounge around in a striped deck chair.
Stripes the only sort I've got.
I think it's high time it weren't here, Austin. Good night, everyone.
Night, Mum. Oh, you did say you weren't coming tomorrow, didn't you?
No, love, I'll be round as usual.
Oh, good.
Good night, Mrs. Wagstaff. Mr. Wagstaff.
It's Mr. Tweedale. We're not married.
Much better just living together, isn't it? Avoids all the mess.
I think it's very high time we weren't here, Austin.
Well.
Right.
Yep.
It's hard to know what to say.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Hard to know what to say.
Yeah.
In the circumstances.
Very hard in the circumstances.
Being what they are.
It really is very hard to know what to say.
You don't mind me bringing my troubles round, do you?
Oh, well done, Gavin. I thought that was set in for the night.
Of course we don't mind. That's what we're here for.
Ah, good. Your kid's all right?
Yeah, fine.
That's what we're here for, too, night after night.
Might have been different if we'd had kids.
Probably. The real importance of kids to a marriage is that they have this tremendous knack of making you very, very poor.
There are compensations, Chris.
In 20 years, they leave home. That's one right away.
Of course, when you get right down to it, I blame myself for what's happened. My fault, really.
Yeah, I suppose so.
What do you mean?
I was just agreeing with you, that's all.
No, I mean, it's my fault for being in the airline business. Notorious for broken marriages, you know. Yeah, the public have no idea of the heartaches behind the glamour. I mean, for them, it's all fantastic air hostesses, night stopovers in San Francisco, Tokyo, Luton.
Does that really apply if you work in Albert Square?
I'm out at Manchester Airport almost every other day with a special package. Now, you can't avoid involvement with all the heartaches behind the glamour. In air freight, you must make total commitments, see.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to get the packets on the plane.
Well, that's only part of the pressure. I mean, there's adjusting to all the time lags, like leaving Japan, landing in London the day before you set off.
There's not much of a time lag between Manchester Airport and Albert Square, is there?
Now, if you're a professional in this game, there's not much glamour. It's not all Hilton hotels and high balls in Manhattan, you know.
Yeah, it always did sound a pretty routine job to me.
It's pretty glamorous compared to most.
What are highballs?
Oh, they're, you know, what you drink in Manhattan.
Has Carol taken all the things with her?
Yeah, you know, she might not have left you at all. I mean, she could be at home now, dying to make her.
Cleaned out our joint bank account.
That sounds pretty definite.
And she's taken her heated hair rollers.
Oh. That is extremely definite.
Anyway, can't go back there. It's too full of memories. Carol's things all over the place. Every time I open a drawer, snapshots of Spanish waiters fall out. Just couldn't face sleeping in the house where in the past we spent so many miserable months. And there's no milk in.
Where were you thinking of staying?
Not really thought, you know. Any port in a storm will do.
You're a fairly long way from the coast.
Actually, a very minor reason why I came round was to see if you or Fliss knew of someone, you know, spare bedroom, put me up for a couple of days. While I try and pick up the pieces. Suppose you do get over this sort of thing.
Can't think of anyone offhand. Chris?
No.
Of course, time like this when you want to be among friends.
Oh, well, we would be the first to offer Gavin. But our spare room is like Mother Hubbard's cupboard. I mean, we would if we could, wouldn't we, Chris?
Honestly, pal, if that bedroom had been furnished, it would have been yours for as long as you wanted.
Don't worry, Chris.
Can't help worrying. It's only natural.
I've got a furniture van outside with enough stuff to furnish.
Hells bells, how did that happen?
You started it by saying if that bedroom had been furnished, it would have been his for as long as he wanted.
That ended it. You started it by saying we'd be the first to offer
I
Gavin.
was only trying to be nice to your friend.
He might be my friend, but he's still a great big galloping twit.
Then why is he your friend?
Well, it's not his fault he's a great big galloping twit. It's just that he comes from a long line of great Gatsby. No, we didn't see that film, did we?
No.
The big bedroom at the front, okay? The master bedroom, please, and if you put the bed up for me, I'll see you both right.
Oh, it's all yours, mate.
Up to 2 days.
Don't worry, I'll sort it out.
Are you still hungry?
Less than I was.
Bowl of soup, do you?
Why not? Let's make it a night of careless rapture.
Your night for doing your toenails? You know, that's the thing you miss when you live with a woman. Repartee.
Hey, you're not a dab hand at cutting hedges by any chance, eh?
No, never tried. Yours want doing?
Yeah, right down to the ground. Struth! What have you got in there?
It's my scale electric.
You mean little toy cars and things?
Yeah. Scale models, detailed right down to the last detail. That was another thing Carol wouldn't even try to understand. You know, last Saturday she walked on the humpback bridge. This Formula One Ferrari went belting up a leg seat, knocked the front wheel out of alignment.
Oh, yeah.
All she could say was, look at me bloody tights.
You know, you've had a lot to put up with, mate.
Yeah, got her priorities all wrong.
Yeah, there aren't many women who'd stand on their husband's humpback bridge.
Great smell coming from the kitchen, Fliss. Are we having soup?
Chris, are you asleep?
Yeah.
Can't help feeling sorry for him. Gavin.
Suppose I do, really.
I know we haven't got much in the way of things, but, well, we've got the twins and each other. And a roof over our heads.
Have you ever noticed? Every time I force one draft, it's this house, another tile falls off.
You know what I mean. You wouldn't swap everything we've got for a Lotus, would you?
No. I might swap it for a Porsche.
Oh.
Come here.
He must be feeling rotten. All he's got is a car. No wife, no children, sleeping all by himself in a strange bedroom. Do you think he's still awake?
No.
Go and see if he's all right.
Gavin, you still awake, mate?
Hang on, Chris.
Nothing special, I just want...
Well, it's not much, but it's home. Mind if I just try out the stereo? You've got to get the speaker's position just right. It'll be fairly tricky. Lacinio Molina, okay? Plays a very sexy guitar. Drinks behind you, Chris. Don't mind helping yourself. Not much, I'm afraid. Few bottles of scotch, gin. Must get stocked up tomorrow. Come in, Fliss.
I was just wondering if everything...
Help yourself to a drink, love. Just trying to get the treble right. You know, I want you both to know how grateful I am helping me over this sticky patch. Promise to make it up to the two of you. Tin of Turkish delight in the drinks cabinet.
Chris, are you awake?
No.
What time is it?
49 seconds to 2.
Oh, we better feed the twins, haven't we?
Hang on, in 49 seconds.
Thought Gavin's room looked quite nice, if you like that sort of thing. Mind you, you know. Deep button leather settees and deep pile Indian carpets do assume more importance when you've no wife and no children. When you're all alone. Things aren't nearly so important when you've got a wife and twins. Each other, are they?
No.
Chris, I think I'm telling lies.
Come on. Let's feed our deep-buttoned leather twins.
Listen, I can hear something.
It's a gang of international art thieves breaking into Gavin's room.
It's coming from outside.
What is it?
Biggles is cutting the hedge.
Hey, that's pretty thoughtful of him. I was only saying earlier on he'd be cutting right down.
That's the word. Do you think it's an improvement?
Well, it does make Mr. Grisselinius literalis look a bit overgrown, doesn't it?
It's going to take hours to finish off.
Yeah. Hey, do you like Licinia melina?
Yeah, I think so. I've had it once with rice.
Could come here for our holidays.
I wonder how much you'd charge.
Perhaps kicking Gavin out tomorrow. Well, I mean,
Well, I
I
suppose.
suppose we could put him up for about a week.
A week.
What do you think?
Bottoms up.